Hey, what's good, people? My name is Alex Mack. I am one half of the A.n.A podcast, and I am here today with another Mac Reacts video. AKA the filler of the channel. But yeah, once again, I think I'm gonna go ahead and react to some spooky tunes, some really creepy cartoons. There's a lot of channels on here that does like a bunch of weird or like short horror stories, and there's a channel on here that does that like animates them, and there's a couple of channels that do like the animated stories, but Llama Arts is, I believe, the original, and they are most definitely the best. So I would say, do yourself a favor. If you're into this kind of thing, and it's the kind of thing you're into, give them go over to the channel, check them out. Yeah, they are really dope. I've spent whole weekends just binging this channel, and I think it's really cool. I think it's really dope. Check them out. Stop by, watch some videos, subscribe to the channel. Hit some likes. And since you're at it, just hit some likes on this channel too, man. Subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate that. With that in mind, let's get weird. All right, the story I got here, True Nightmare Stories number 2. This looks like the first story is Abandoned House at Night. Okay, this one should be a good one. All right, let's check them out.
I'll never forget the time me and my brother snuck out past our bedtimes to explore an allegedly haunted house down the block. Yes, I said bedtime, as I was only 10 and my brother Luke was only 12. When our parents said goodnight to us, I went to Luke's room and we took a couple hand-powered flashlights with us and hopped outside through the window. Luckily, his room was on the first floor. Those hand-powered flashlights worked by
What?
constantly pushing in a little trigger that would create light inside the lens. They were noisy as hell, but they were convenient. Once we
Okay, I was a pretty bad 9 or 10 year old. I don't know if I say bad, but I was a pain in the ass kid. Like I'm fairly confident that I was a real pain in the ass kid. Jumping out my bedroom window at like 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock or whatever time they said. Mm, I don't know. Nah, that's a whole nother level of bad kid. Like never cry. I can honestly say never crossed my mind. Anyway, I'm
were
sorry.
outside, we just walked down the block, and in 2 minutes we were there. It was rumored by all the neighborhood kids and teens that the place was haunted. Everything about it was creepy. The older, more antique design of the house, the isolation from the rest of the houses, and the broken windows and rotting wood. It seemed perfect for a horror movie. We went around to the backyard. This was all my curious and confident brother's idea. I was scared shitless. The door was locked, as expected. I felt a bit of relief, thinking we might just go home, but my brother made a shocking move next. He grabbed a plank of wood laying in the grass and began smashing the already chipped window. Eventually, there was enough of an opening to
Y'all are
unlock
some
it and slide it up
badass
completely.
kids.
We hopped inside and began cranking those noisy-ass flashlights. Immediately after entering the house, we both picked up on the fact that it was like 90 degrees in there, which was odd as it was a September night in the mid-70s. There was no graffiti or anything anywhere. In fact, it was relatively empty besides a few pieces of furniture that were clearly not worth taking along. It seemed we were the first to enter the house, shockingly, or at least from the back. We went upstairs to the main floor from the little den area and continued cranking the flashlights. That's when we heard the
I think I
slightest
remember the
crack in
little
the
crank
floorboards from right
flashlights
above
too.
us. We both jumped. I tugged for Luke to leave, but he told me the place is old as hell. It's just house noises. I stopped cranking the flashlight at this point, and I urged Luke to do the same, but he only called me stupid for suggesting something so ridiculous. Then there was another crack in the floorboards from above us. He began walking upstairs. I didn't want to
Of
go up there,
course.
but I was not about to stay down there alone. I followed behind him to the upstairs. There was a door that led to a room right above where we were standing. I begged him not to open it, but he must have just wanted to be the big, tough older brother. He began to reach for the doorknob while still cranking the noisy flashlight, but then he stopped. I was confused. I could see in the dark he was moving his ear up against the door, listening for something. Silence. Then, the most deafening, nightmare-inducing moment of my life. A single bang on the door from the other side sent my brother staggering into the wall in pain, covering his ear. We dropped the flashlights and ran straight out the back door and back home. We were so loud when we got back that our parents found us out. We told them what happened, but they naturally didn't care and grounded us both for a week.
A week?
2 nights later, I woke to the sound of something from outside my window and a glare of brightness sneaking in through my slightly opened blind. I sat up, and my heart sank when I realized it was the sound of the
The
crank to my
flashlight.
flashlight. I stood up and looked out the window, and that's when it stopped. There was nothing but complete blackness out there after that. I woke the next day barely remembering what happened, and I still hope today that that part was just a dream.
I don't think so, bro. Yeah, nah, that wasn't no dream, my guy. When I was 10 years old, I wasn't sneaking out the house, but I don't know. That's just me. Jeez, some bad kids, man. Survival instincts is null. So okay, that one was cool. All right, let's see what we got next. All right, we good. All right. So the next one, creepy night shift story. Um, all right, let's see what this one's about.
It was around 3 years ago. I was 17 years old and I worked at the local library in my city. The library was located in the middle of the city, but was totally abandoned in the evenings. I only worked in the evenings, when all the older staff had already gone home. My colleague and I were the only one left there that night. As it was the day before Christmas and a blizzard was going on outside, not one single customer inhabited the building. My colleague Thomas was down at ground level, while I was sitting at my desk on the top level. Normally, I would take the time to study, but it was the holidays and I was completely bored to death. The library was recently renovated, so I could look outside through the big windows that they had put up. I mostly looked at the blizzard going on, thinking about my bike ride home. It was a dark December evening
Oof.
and the snow was piling up. I just really wanted to go
You
home.
got to ride a bike in a blizzard.
It's really snowy out there,
That's a
Tom.
horror story
What do you
itself.
say we close up early? No one's going to show up anyway. Over. Your jokes are funny. Over. Just 10 minutes before we closed, I heard some people coming up the stairwells. It was some kind of family, one man and a woman with two girls. When they came through the
What?
door, I immediately saw that they weren't ordinary. The man had a pale, almost white face and wore red lipstick. The woman was also completely pale. They all wore clothing like they used to be in the 17 or 1800s. I just had my history exam, so I recognized it immediately. While I walked towards them, I saw that they were looking around as if they were lost. Can I help you folks? I asked them. They looked at me with big eyes, if I was talking Chinese. I almost thought about bailing, but as we just had a meeting about customer satisfaction, I asked again, a bit louder. Can I help you folks? They now all looked at me with a big smile and large eyes.
Oh
I
nah.
was totally creeped out and I didn't really know what to do anymore. If I can help you, I'll be at my desk, I said, and I quickly walked away. When I was at my desk, I could still see the family just standing there, doing absolutely nothing. Tom, have you seen this family that just came in? Over. No, no one's come through the entrance. You good? Over. Now I was even more creeped out. When I looked up, I saw the man walking towards me. From the inside, I could almost cry, but I did my best not to show it. The man stood in front of me with his pale face and called out something in a language I couldn't understand. It sounded like English, but it sort of wasn't. I
Okay.
couldn't make out
Okay. Hold
anything.
up. Hold up. Hold up. How many? Okay. let's guess how many J's my man had. Before his shift. I he's tweaking. He has to be tweaking right now. He has to be tweaked. But then again, the story seems so weird and random that it's one of those stories that you kind of can't make up. I guess. Uh,
I looked down at my
okay.
computer to make it look like I was searching, hoping he would just take off. When I finally looked up, nobody was there. The whole floor was abandoned again. I did a quick sweep of the floor, but I found nobody, as if they just vanished. Just then, my colleague came up the stairs, and I told him what happened. He didn't believe me, and I thought I was trying to scare him. Luckily, there were security cameras in the library, so we could just watch what happened, right? After we closed the library, we went to the security office in the building and looked at the footage from earlier that
And
evening.
you was just talking to
What I
yourself,
saw
weren't you?
then was the creepiest thing ever. I was talking to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
The whole family wasn't on the screen. It was just me, talking to myself.
You was high. You was high. That's a weird one. Okay, that one's weird. Um, he ain't telling the whole story. If you know what I'm saying. I know that one was weird though. I liked it. That one was cool. All right. Let's do one more. I got one more in me. Let's go. All right. So now we're gonna look at one that's simply called The Woman. Okay, let's see what this is about.
It was a late, moonless, snowy night. I heard the chilling cry of a bobcat as I arrived home from my parents' house, where we had just had Thanksgiving dinner in northern Michigan. Exhausted, I had finally made it to my bed when my pregnant girlfriend asked for nacho cheese munchies. Reluctantly, I laced up my boots and went to my car. Due to the cold, it took me a while to start the car, which only made me more irritated. But eventually, I got it started, and I arrived at the convenience store to retrieve my girlfriend's mandated snacks. As I
Been
left
there.
the store, walking back towards my car,
I can say
I
I've
saw
been
a
there.
shadow of movement out of the corner of my eye. What looked like a person stood near the dumpster, just out of the light. I stepped towards the figure, and she looked at me with a giant, sinister smile. Her face was so weathered it looked like she had cracks all over her face. She was crouched down and appeared to be chewing on something. I looked to see what she was chewing on,
You look to
and to my
see,
surprise, it was a severed arm. It looked old, as if it had been rotting for weeks. I
and
saw
you
her
got out of
glance at
there.
something in her pocket. I could see the outline of what looked like a pocket knife. As soon as I looked back up, she quickly charged me. I pushed her away and then ran back to the convenience store. I burst through the door and frantically yelled towards the cashier to call the police as I turned to lock it. He asked me, "What's going on?" I scowled at him and said, "Please, just call the cops." I looked back outside and saw the woman had moved across the street and was still scrutinizing me as she maintained her malevolent grin. "Look, there's a girl out there who's trying to kill me." Looking over me, he replied, "I don't see anyone out there, sir." Those words shook me, even to this day. When the police reached the gas station, they began looking around for the woman while one of the officers asked me what had happened, and I told him the details of the encounter. One of the officers came back and said he couldn't find anything. I then took them back to where I first noticed her. We spent a few minutes intently searching, but there was no proof she was ever even there. The officer cocked his head and looked at me as if I was deranged and asked me in a judgmental tone, "Are you feeling okay?" I was about to defend myself, and then I started to think. I am tired, and I have had a couple of drinks, so I just told him,
Wasted.
"Yes, sir. Sorry for bothering you. I hope you have a nice night."
Sorry, officer. I'm
Then I
wasted,
drove
bro.
home.
I must have been seeing.
I got home at
I'm
around
sorry.
4 o'clock in the morning. My girlfriend greeted me with an angered but concerning tone of voice. She asked me,
Where were you? Are you okay?
So I told her everything that happened. Of course, she didn't believe me. I couldn't get to sleep that night. I sat in my bed questioning my sanity, wondering if it was all even real. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm just tired. But no, that can't be it. I saw it.
Okay, fellas, in that situation, do you mention to your girl that there was a demon woman or crazy woman or psycho woman at all in that? Do you mention woman at all, or do you just say nothing like my man and just goes? Because in that instance, if you utter the word woman, chick, female, whatever, it's you ain't getting no sleep that night. Like it's that night is a wrap, right? Oh, she was a demon, was she? Oh, she was eating an arm, huh? There's no win in that situation. There's like there's no win, right? So yeah, I feel it. I'm with this story. I'm not calling BS on this story yet.
It. But if I saw it, why was there no proof? Where did the arm go? Where did she go? Before I knew it, it was 7 in the morning, and I had to go to work. I threw on my
Been
jacket
there
as I
too.
was about to head to the
Yeah.
construction site, and I put my hand in my pocket and noticed that there was a hole in it. It wasn't there the other day. I thought, what if she caught my jacket as I ran? Which further proves my suspicion that she was real. I couldn't believe it. My mind completely went wild until my girlfriend kissed me goodbye. I told my friends at work what had happened, and they didn't believe me either. They made jokes about it the entire day. I had my bowling tournament that day, so that gave me something to look forward to. I got home and hung my vest and jacket up and rapidly put on my bowling shoes and got my bowling ball. My girlfriend looked at me with a pleasant smile and said,
When will you be back?
probably around 11.
Don't be long.
Yeah,
I
don't wait
won't,
up for me.
don't
You know what
worry.
I'm saying?
After an accident, don't count on the insurance company to play fair.
That insurance company wants to pay you as
At around 10:30, the tournament had finally finished and we had won. I was so thrilled I had forgotten about the woman. As we were leaving, I noticed something at the other end of the parking lot. It was that psychotic woman. We
Oh, she's
stared at
back.
each other for what felt like an eternity. She slowly started moving towards me while waving her knife in the air and making cuts. I quickly jumped into my car and turned it on. As I looked up, I saw she was standing in front of me, staring at me. She slowly walked over to my window and she said in a quiet, deep, and scratchy voice,
Stop bullshitting. You know you
Little
want this.
pig, little pig, let me in.
I was frozen in fear,
Playing hard to
but I
get.
snapped back to reality when she banged on the roof of my car, screaming. I quickly slammed my foot on the accelerator and didn't let off it until I couldn't see her anymore. When I arrived home, I told my girlfriend what had happened. Like last time, she didn't believe me. I really thought I was insane, but I tried to forget about it and get some sleep. Later that night, I woke up and saw her in my room. All she said was, "Let me in," over and over as she got closer.
Oh,
She then started shouting,
Let me in, let me in, let me in! Let me in! Come on, Paul. Stop being difficult. Let me in!
I was wondering how in the world my girlfriend hadn't heard this going on. The woman was right next to me
oh,
and
that's a
held up a
demon.
knife to me. That's when I fainted. I woke startled in my room, dripping with sweat. Then I remembered I don't have a girlfriend, nor a house, or a family.
Come on, Paul. Time for your morning meds. Let me in.
Man, that old Shyamalan Bulls. Man, come on with that. Man, that story was good. It had me. It had me. I ain't gonna lie. It had me for a minute. But man, that come on, man. That old bullshit has ended. Well, okay. So again, sometimes these stories they can be like really weird and really creepy, and then sometimes they can just be just dumb. But yeah, okay. That was another filler episode of the A.n.A podcast. But thank you for checking out this video, another edition of Mac Reacts. If you like it, click like, subscribe to the channel. We can use your support, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.